Okay. Good afternoon, class. Today's class, we are going to discuss the NMOS fabrication process. Right. In the previous class, we have already seen that this NMOSFET operation in the enhancement mode and the depletion mode. Right. In the So what are the transistor maybe, whether it is in enhancement mode or depletion mode, the fabrication process is almost same. Okay, there will be very less variation in the structure of okay. So in the NMOS fabrication process, we start first with the generally we'll have a thin wafer which is cut from a single crystal of silicon which is of high purity. Okay, and we make it as a p-type impurity. Right, we add some amount of p-type impurities to that, which is cut from a single crystal of silicon. Okay, generally these wafers will be typically 75 to 150 micrometer in diameter. Okay, these wafers, silicon wafers. That means in the previous classes, we have seen that I have a silicon, pure form of silicon. I boil it at 1200 degrees centigrade, and it will be converted into it will be converted into liquid. Okay, and it will be formed as an ingot. Right. I used to mention here as an ingot. If I cut here into slices, it will be forming as a wafer, right? Okay, it will be formed as a wafer. So you see here, this is the silicon wafer die. On the silicon wafer die, it is the wafer area. So if you zoom and see, it is just like this. Okay, on this part only I have to create the, what you say, I have to create this transistors. In initial days, we used to create only one transistor, two transistors, or three transistors in the less amount of area. Later, I have increased. That means later we have increased the number of transistors occupied on a single silicon wafer die. So now I am seeing how I form individually single silicon wafer die. How I form a transistor on a single silicon wafer die. Okay, first I am taking silicon which is cut from a single crystal of silicon which is of high purity. Okay, and for that I am adding p type of impurities. Why? Because I am designing an NMOS fabrication. Sorry, I am designing a NMOS transistor, right? So my substrate should be a p type. Okay, over that, so I said, just now I said this silicon wafer die, its diameter will be in the range of its diameter will be in the range of 75 to 150 micrometer, right? 75 to 150 millimeter in diameter, and its thickness, generally the thickness of this silicon wafer die will be in the range of 0.4 micrometer, right? 0.4, sorry, not micrometer, millimeter, right? Okay, so and this total thing will be offering some amount of resistivity also. It will be in the range of 25 ohms to 2 ohms range. Okay, okay, you can see here I'm having a silicon wafer die, silicon wafer die, and I'm making it as a p-type impurity. I'm making it a p-type impurity. So I'm indicating it in different format. You can see here. Over that, I subject this silicon wafer, which is of lightly p-type, to the oxygen, and that means I am oxidizing it. I am oxidizing it. So it is forming a thin oxide, which will be so this after oxidation, a thick oxide is formed with point, sorry, 1 micrometer thickness, right? With 1 micrometer thickness, a thick oxide is formed. What is this? It is SiO2, silicon subjected to oxidation process. It will be nothing but SiO2, silicon subjected to oxidation process becoming SiO2. This is called as thick oxide. Why? Because its thickness is only 1 micrometer. Generally, if it is of 0.1 micrometer, it is to say as thin oxide, right? Okay. So next, just we have done only the oxidation process. The first step is oxidation process, and we have formed a thick oxide. Then over that, I am forming a photoresist material. So what is this photoresist? This photoresist is just like some gel type of material. Okay, it is just like some gel type of material. It will be spreaded evenly over the total surface. Okay, what's the purpose of this photoresist is photoresist. In the name itself is saying that it is stopping some amount of light. So we call it as photoresist. Okay, so it has some purpose. Okay, I will say in the further steps. Okay, the purpose of this photoresist. Okay, so this photoresist is just like some gel, and I will be spreading all that photoresist material over the total surface on, that means above the silicon oxide evenly, and then I'm using a UV light, sorry, I'm using a mask over the photoresist, and I will be subjecting it to the UV light. Okay, so what the characteristics of this photoresist is, the part which is exposed to the light, this part, the part which is exposed, you can see here, this is the mask, and the black color which is present here is the barrier. This is the barrier for this UV light. Okay, that means uh, here this part is, that means which is under the black, which is under the black part is not exposed to UV light. The thing which is exposed to the UV light is hardened. It is hardened, and this is not hardened. So I can clean it with the help of some chemical, say generally HCl. Right? With the help of it, I will be cleaning the total photoresist, and I am making a hole. Just, and we can't say here hole, we can say it as a window. I am creating a window in the oxide. Oxide means this is SiO2, right? This is SiO2. This is P-type material. Okay. So I have created a window in this oxide process with the help of photoresist, with the help of UV light, that too with the taking the help of a mask. Then you can see here, I am once again subjecting this silicon dioxide to once again to the oxidation process. So it is once again oxidized. So a thin, this time previously a thick oxide is formed, now a thin oxide is formed over the, you can see here in the figure number 6, you can see a thin oxide is formed. Previously it is thick oxide, it is now thin oxide. It is in the range of 0.1 micrometer in thickness generally. Okay, only a thin oxide is formed. So what we can observe from 5 and 6, from 5 and 6, in the window, in the window which is created after the oxidation process, some thin oxide is also formed here. Over that, I am forming with the help of patterned polycrystalline silicon, that is this gate material, that is polycrystalline silicon, which will be acting as a gate material. In the previous figures, you can see that this gate material is above the some oxide, thin oxide, 0.1 micrometer thickness oxide, right? So thick oxide means 1 micrometer thickness. So now, so gate is formed. Then what about the sources and the drains, which has to be formed here and here? Okay, you can see that is a well type is formed here and here. Okay, so see here, with the help of n plus diffusion process, with the help of diffusion process, with 1 micrometer deep, with 1 micrometer deep, I am forming N plus on the left and the right sides, which will be acting as sources and the drains, right? We can observe the difference between the fifth and the sixth and the sixth and the seventh figures, right? So in the seventh figure, you can see here N plus diffusion process. We are forming the source and the drain, which is of highly concentration of N type. It is done with the help of diffusion process, and generally the depth of this N well or the P well will be 1 micrometer deep, right? So then after that, I once again go with the oxidation process. Okay, I once again go with the oxidation process, that is thin oxidation process. Again, I will be growing some oxygen all over the total materials, and I will make some contact holes. That means with the help of some chemical, that is called as etching process. We used to call it as etching process, and we'll be removing this material, right? We'll be removing this, what you say, oxide. Some part of the oxide is removed here, here, and that means above the source region, drain region, and above the gate region. Okay, that is made why? Because that is made why? Because to connect the source, drain, and the gate materials to the outer world. Okay, that thing will be done with the help of metallization. Okay, that is called as patterned metallization. That is done with the help of aluminum. Okay, generally it will be in the thickness of 1 micrometer. Okay, it will be in the thickness of meter. So you can, this total thing is called as metallization, right? So with just 9 figures, we are able to understand the total NMOS fabrication process. I will repeat the total thing once again. Listen carefully. Okay. In the textbook we don't find the PMOS fabrication process, but in the exams we may find that question that is PMOS fabrication process also. This is NMOS fabrication process. This is NMOS fabrication process. Okay, the steps are given here in detail, right? This is an NMOS fabrication process. Okay, and the step-by-step process is mentioned here. So you can see here, process is carried out on a thin wafer cut from a single crystal of silicon of high purity, and which the required P impurities are introduced. Okay, this is the step-by-step process. So I can explain it once again. You can observe it clearly. Okay, I have taken a first from ingot. I have cut a circular silicon wafer. In that circular silicon wafer, I have cutted a very small bit silicon wafer die, and on that silicon wafer die, I am developing some transistor. Right. For the example, we are first discussing only the NMOS transistor. How I am going to develop the NMOS transistor. So I have taken that the silicon wafer die, and I made it as a P-type lightly. I made it a lightly doped P-type material, right? By adding some P-type impurities in light quantity. Okay, so a P-type substrate is formed. Okay, over that I am, with the help of oxidation process, I am forming a thick oxide die. So generally it will be in the thickness of 1 micrometer. So we call it as thick oxide. Okay, over that thick oxide, I am pouring some amount of photoresist. This photoresist is generally gel type material. I am spreading that photoresist all over the thick oxide evenly. Okay, with some uh, spinning method process, right? Spinning method process. Okay, you can see here. I want to make a window in the oxide layer here. Okay, I want to make a window in the oxide layer, but I am doing that one with the help of a mask where that black portion is nothing but it is blocking the UV light. Okay, the under this black material, under the uh, black window, the total photoresist will be in the gel type form. Okay, the other things which is exposed in the UV light will be becoming harder, and with the help of HCl we can clean that, and I can remove the total unnecessary photoresist, and the photoresist which is in the gel form also with some other chemical materials. So totally I have formed a window in the oxide. After that, I once again subject to the oxidation process, and a thin oxide is formed which will be in the range of 0.1 micrometer thickness. Okay, after forming the thin oxide, I go with polycrystalline silicon. I am forming the polycrystalline silicon, so which will be acting as an gate material. So now with the help of diffusion process, I am forming a source and the drain. Okay, you can see here it is shaded in the different format. Okay, n plus diffusion. With the help of n plus diffusion process, I am forming the source and the drain. After that, I once again go with the oxidation process. Oxidation process means once again forming a silicon dioxide totally. But I want to connect the source. You can see here in the eighth figure, you can see here, I want to create a hole here, here, here. This thing will be done with the once again with the help of some photoresist or else some other cleaning etching process. Right. A hole is formed over the source, the drain, and the gate, which we call it as contact holes, or we can also call as contact cuts. Okay. So in the contact cuts, I have to pour some amount of metal. Generally, I use aluminum. They are the good conductors of electrons, right? For the movement of electrons. So these source, drain, and the gate, after metallization, they are ready to connect to the outer world, right? Okay, this is the total NMOS fabrication process. Okay, so you can see here, this is the diffusion process, what we have said previously. This is the p-type impurity. Okay, with the help of a pentavalent gas, the donor gas we used to call, I am injecting this pentavalent gas will be having the free movement of free electrons, right, in their outermost orbits. They will be moving, injected. They will be moving. They will be injected into the source. That is called diffusion process. Okay. So that is the NMOS fabrication process. But with the same figures, we can analyze the PMOS fabrication process also. Okay. Instead of P, you think this is N. In the first figure, in the circle you are seeing here P. Instead of that, you think that one as N. That means I have taken a silicon wafer die and I made it an N-type purity, lightly doped N-type material, and over that I am once again forming a thick oxide, subjecting it to the oxidation process. Over that, I am forming the photoresist. Okay, photoresist is formed over the thick oxide. So as the previously, if previously I have used the positive mask or negative mask, now so if I use the mask, the negative of this negative mask will be used. We used to say that same we have UV light and same mask. Okay, it will be exposed to the UV light. The portion which is exposed to the UV light will be hardened, and the part which is not exposed to the UV light will be just like gel only. So that thing will be removed with the help of some etching process, or else the cleaning of cleaning with some chemicals, right? Generally HCLs, right? That HCl like that. Okay. Next, a window will be formed in the oxide layer, and again a thin oxide is formed. Again, a gate material is formed. The most difference we can observe here is here we will be forming source and the drain. By diffusion process, I have to form the P plus. Okay, P plus source and drain has to be formed. Okay, so the thing will be formed here. After that, once again, I will be forming the contact holes or contact cuts. In that, with the help of metallization process, I will be pouring some metal there, right? So that is the PMAS fabrication process. Everything is same, but only two steps what we have to keep in mind is, so previously the substrate is made, substrate is of P type, and now it is so major difference is, so in the NMOS fabrication process we have P type substrate, in the PMOS fabrication process we have N type substrate. Okay, the total rest everything will be almost similar. And in the seventh step, you can see here, previously we used to have NMOS fabrication, N plus diffusion. For NMOS, now we will be having P plus diffusion for the PMOS transistor formation, right? So that is. So we have the CMOS fabrication process also, and this CMOS fabrication process is done in three methods. One is P-well process, other one is N-well process, and the other one is the twin tub process. Okay, the other one is the twin tub process. Okay. So just we won't find detailed step-by-step process for the CMOS, but we can understand clearly since we know already the NMOS fabrication process. So NMOS fabrication process is the base for all other fabrication process, right? Okay. So this is CMOS. That means CMOS means we should have both the NMOS transistor and the PMOS transistor. Okay, NMOS transistor and the PMOS transistor. In that CMOS fabrication process, we have three varieties, right? In that first variety is P-well process, the other one is the N-well process, and the other one is the twin tub process. So first we are going with the P-well process. Okay, so the CMOS. So first I am having a silicon wafer, which is of little bit bigger in size, silicon wafer type, which will be a little bit bigger in size when compared to the previous one. Okay, bigger in the size in the sense, but within the less amount of area only, we have to accumulate more number of transistors. We can't say bigger in size, but within the same amount of area only, we have to design two number of transistors. One should be of N type and one should be of another one should be of p-type, right? So in the p-well process, first we have an n-type substrate. In that n-type substrate, I am creating a p-type of well. Okay, I am creating a p-type of well. After that, so how this p-type of well is created? So I have seen the just now only you have seen the photoresist, the help of photoresist, which is helping us to create. So you can see here, first I have a silicon vapor die. I made it an n-type. Okay. After that, I have formed a photoresist on it, and I am covering this particular part. I'm covering this particular part with the mask, and this part you can see here the leftmost part and the rightmost part is uncovered, and over this n-type, first I am going for the formation of silicon dioxide. Subjecting this total thing to the oxidation process, I have formed the silicon dioxide. Over that, I have formed the photoresist, and with the help of UV light and mask, but that particular technology, I have formed a window in the SiO2. Generally, I will be using a diffusion process to form a well in this n-type of substrate. That well is of p-type. In the p-well only, I have to form the NMOS transistor. So in the rightmost, you can see here a p-well is formed. That only I have to form the NMOS transistor. So you know how to form the NMOS transistor and the PMOS transistor. This first figure you can see here in the circle N, and in the first figure in this rectangular part you can see in a circle of P. This P is to form the NMOS transistor, and this N part will be used for formation of PMOS transistor. So next you can see here we will be creating some windows in this SiO2, that's photoresist material. Okay, after that we'll be forming the gate materials, and then we go with the formation of p-type diffusion for the PMOS transistor. In the third step you can see that, and in the when we are forming the p plus diffusion in the third step, this total thing that is in the NMOS area, that means the formation of transistor, NMOS transistor area will be masked, right, with the help of P plus mask, which is a positive mask. And now we will be having P plus mask, which is of negative type, okay, which will be covered on the P transistor formation area, and N type diffusion will be carried out, and N plus source and the drains are formed. Okay, here two transistors are formed successfully, which will be separated with the help of the silicon dioxide, okay, which will be acting as insulator between the two transistors, which is avoiding the disturbances created one transistor with the other, right? So this is the CMOS p-well process, okay, by using p-well process, okay. So you can see here this CMOS p-well, we have NMOS transistor and the PMOS transistor. So though they will, so we can connect it as an inverter, right? So generally we will be taking the output between the drains. Okay. So you can see here V out. This is the drain of this PMOS transistor and this NMOS transistor. Okay. And output input will be given to the gates, right? Input will be connected to the gates, and the output will be taken at the drains. Then what about the operations, right? That is what you say, substrate, you can say. So this PMOS transistor substrate will be connected to the VDD, and the NMOS transistor substrate will be connected to the VSS. Generally, we used to call it as a ground also. In some cases, generally we'll be connecting it as VSS. Okay. So you can see here VSS. Okay. VSS, we have two types of shaded regions. Okay. Here and here. That is to connect to the outer world. We can't connect the lightly doped materials. So we have to increase the concentration at the connecting point. Okay, that's the reason it is in the other color, other in the gray type of indication itself, right? So for the same thing, this NVAL process is also same. So here the figures are not mentioned, but the step-by-step process is mentioned in a flow chart here. You can understand that. Overglass formation means here creating the contacts, right? Overglass formation means creating the contacts. So this is the cross-sectional view of first we have seen the PVL process. Now we are seeing the NVAL process. So in the NVAL process, here you are seeing here leftmost you are observing some well here. That is the NVAL where the PMOS transistor is formed. Okay. So we have PVL process and NVAL process. Not only that, when we are willing to form more number of transistors on the less amount of area, it is better to go with the twin tub process where we can have both the tubs, that is NVAL and the PVELs, right? NVAL and the PVELs. I think you can see here with the help of the figure here. This is the twin tub structure. We have N-type structure. We have P-type of well and N well. And we have the two transistors, and both the drains are connected to the output, and both the gates are connected to the input, and corresponding substrates are connected to the corresponding supplies, right? So NMOS to the ground and the PMOS to the VDD. Ground in the sense here VSS, right? This is the twin tub structure. Okay, the steps will be the same, just with increasing the complexity. We are following the same steps, but one after the other, we are having more number of steps since we have totally CMOS in twin tub. That means both NVAL and PVEL should be present there. Okay. So we can have thermal aspects of NMOS and CMOS process also. You can observe here. So in the NMOS fabrication process, we have only one type of transistor, that is only NMOS transistor. So with respect to the time, if you observe the temperatures of the transistor device, okay, this NMOS transistor will be maybe starting at around 1000 degrees centigrade. Later it is cooled down at different aspects. Okay, and you can see here the CMOS, it stayed at high temperature for long amount of time, and then it has decreased a little bit, and later it took more amount of time. It have taken more amount of it is cooled, right? So generally, we can say that NMOS fabrication process has used less amount of temperature, and also it has some advantages which will be performing a little bit with higher speeds. So CMOS may be consuming more amount of temperature since we have to maintain it at more temperature, almost 1100 to 1200 degrees centigrade for more amount of time. Okay. So that is a thermal sequence difference between NMOS and the CMOS process. Okay. So in the next class, we'll discuss the other topics. By next class, we get thorough with the process of NMOS fabrication process, PMOS fabrication process, and the CMOS fabrication process, all the three methods, right? Okay.